Okay, so we have this interesting question here under applications of differentiation. So we have t equals tp squared minus 4, all in bracket raised to power 3. And I said when p equals 2, it is increased by 0.5%. Find the approximate percentage change in t. When they say find the approximate percentage change in t, it means this is what they want you to calculate. They want you to calculate change in t over t times 100 over 1, and then you solve. So this is what they want you to do, the approximate percentage change in t. This is what they want you to find. But they have given you a relationship between t and p. With this, that's having this formula connects your p and your t. So let me write out the formula, and then of course I apply the derivative. So I'll differentiate t with respect to p and see how I can get my change in t. But mind you, don't forget that while we are solving, we'll also be using dt, and of course we know that dt also means change in t. So anywhere you see dt, you can just substitute this to replace this, or they just mean the same thing actually. So let's solve. So we have t equals 3p squared minus 4, all in bracket raised to power 3. Then of course we are going to do dt dp since I'm differentiating with respect to p. So dt dp, don't forget that my change in t is the same as my dt. So since I want to evaluate this, I'll try and make this dt the subject of the formula here, so that at least I know I've gotten this part. Once I make it the subject of the formula after finding the derivative, at least I know I've gotten the t, and of course I can get my t because I know t equals to this value, fix t, and then I will evaluate times 100 over 1 and get my final answer. So dt dp, it will now be equal to what? So let me differentiate this. I can use a chain rule for this since it has a binomial and a particular power. So roughly, let's just attend to that. So differentiating only this one, I can just say y equals, I want to differentiate this one and fix here, y equals 3p squared minus 4 all raised to power 3. And of course I'm making the value, the binomial in this bracket, my u. I can say u equals 3p squared minus 4. And I can now rewrite this question since I've made this one u already. I can now say y equals to, this is now u, so I write u raised to power 3. Then of course I'll differentiate here the u dp, differentiate u with respect to p. So I'm going to write the u dp, the u dp, and it's going to be, of course, you know, since this has the variable p, I'll just do 2 times the coefficient of p. That's 2 times 3, I'll get 6. Bring my p down, remove 1 from this 2, I'll get 1 here. Then minus 4 has no p, so it's going to be 0. It's a constant. So this is done already. Then here, it's going to be dy du. So I'm dy du, differentiating with respect to u. So here, I have a power, I have a 1 as a coefficient here. So I'll just do 3 times 1 is 3. Bring your u down, remove 1 from 3, you get 2. So this is what I will get for dy du. So finally, it's going to be dy du times this one du dp, and this formula is legit because if du cancels du, you still get your dy dp again, which is the original derivative for the whole function here. So what is dy du? 3u squared times du dp is 6p. So multiply this. First of all, do 3 times 6, you get 18. Then times p, you get 18p. Then include your u squared. And of course, we know u has a value. This is the value for u, so I'm fixing it back there. So I now have 18p bracket. The u is this value. I'm fixing it back. 3p squared minus 4 all power 2 because of the power here. So this is what I will get after finding the t dp of this function here. So I'm fixing this one here now. So I got 18p open bracket 3p squared minus 4 all bracket raised to power 2. So my dt dp, I got this. Remember, the dp means I'm finding the derivative of this value here, and I've just done that using chain rule. So now I will treat this as a fraction. Remember the goal here. The goal here is to evaluate change in t over t times 100 over 1, which is the question they asked us. They find the approximate percentage change in t, and percentage change in t is the change in t over the original t times 100 over 1. And I said that the change in t can also be our dt. That is why I'm trying my best here to make the t the subject of the formula here. So anything I get after making the t subject, I'll fix it for this change in t since they are the same, and then I'll evaluate. Remember, my t is this value. T equals this value. I'm fixing this value here, and then I'll solve and get my final answer. So now I will treat the t over the t dp as a fraction. Means I can cross multiply and make this guy the subject of the formula. So I can put this 1 over 1, and then I'll cross multiply since I'm assuming that this is a fraction. So then cross multiplying dt times 1 still gives me the t equals then 18p open bracket 3p squared minus 4 close bracket raised to power 2 times dp. I'll just join them. So I'll now have 18p bracket 3p squared minus 4 close bracket, put your power, times my dp. So I should be able to evaluate the value of the t now so that I can fix it here. But there's a problem. I don't know the value of the dp, and of course we know that from what I've just told you that my dp is also the same thing as saying change in p. So the p is the same thing as saying change in p. So if I can get change in p, I'll fix it here. But the question does not even give us any value for the p. It just says when p equals 2, it is increased by 0.5%. Okay, so the mean percentage change in p is 0.5%. I think that will give us a clue on how to get our dp, because this is the only stumbling block here now. If I can get this one, I'll just fix it and evaluate this, and finally I'll get my dt. And when I get my dt, I'm fixing it here for change in t. So let me use this clue. They said it is increased by 0.5%. That means percentage change in p when p equals 2 is 0.5. So that means we're going to do change in p over p times 100 over 1 gave that 0.5. So this is what they want us to do for us to get our change in p. So that's what it means. Said it is increased by 0.5%. So change in p, percentage change in p is 0.5. That's the meaning. Percentage change in p is 0.5. So I need, remember that my change in p is the same thing as the p. So from this equation here, I'll make this the subject of the formula and then fix the value here, and then I'm good to go. So what do? I can multiply through by p. So times p and times p. So p cancels p, and I have 100 change in p equals 0.5p. Then dividing through by 100 cancels 100. Then my change in p will now be this divided by 100. I'm moving my points twice. 1, 2, the point is here. So I have 0.005p. This is the value for change in p, or the value for dp. I can now happily fix this one here. So my dt will now finally be 18p open bracket 3p squared minus 4 close bracket raised to power 2 times my dp is 0.005p. So finally I have the value. I now have the value for my dt, so I can now plug in the value here. So let me now write out the equation, and then I plug in the value. So I'll have it this way. And now, so this is what they want us to find. This I said it from the beginning that this is exactly what they want us to do. Approximate percentage change in t. So let me just do that quickly. So dt over t times 100 over 1 is what they want us to do. So my dt is this whole value. So I want to fix this dt is this whole value. So I write 18p minus 3p squared minus 4 squared times 0.005p over my t is this value here, that is 3p squared minus 4 raised to power 3, then the times 100 over 1. Remember, my p is 2, so anywhere I see p, I'll put 2 there. From the question they said p equals 2, when p equals 2, so I'm putting 2. So 2 times 0.05 gives me 0.01. So that's, so it will just resolve this one. So I now have 18p bracket 3p squared minus 4p squared times 0.01 over 3p squared minus 4 cubed times 100 over 1. So I have this the same. So this is 3p minus 4 raised power 2, and this is 3p minus 4 raised power 3. So this cancels 2 out of this, remaining 1 of this. And I now have 18p times 0.01 over just 3p squared minus 4 times 100 over 1. So this times this times this. First of all, this times this gives me just 1 times 18p. So I just have 18p left. 18p over 3p squared minus 4. Don't forget that my p equals 2. So 18 times 2 is what? 36 over. This is 3 raised to power 2 squared minus 4. 3 times 4, 12 minus 4. That will be 8. Then 36 divided by 8 gives me 4.5%. So that's it. That is the approximate percentage change in t. So very simple.